All right, let's get a clearer picture to the event at today's proceedings. TVC News correspondent Celestina Iria joins me now to bring us ideas of what happened. Celestina, it's good to have you join me. You were in court and you saw things that happened and how it played out. Can you give us the circumstances that led to the alleged refusal of Nnamdi Kanu's counsel or lawyers from entering into the court or gaining access into the courtroom?
Okay, the court sat at exactly 10 and 9:52 local time. Nnamdi Kanu was brought into the court, but when he came into the court, he didn't see any of his counsel, and he asked why. His brother was in court. His younger brother told him that some of his lawyers were not granted access into the court, so his counsel went outside to ensure that they come in. So before they could come into the court, Justice Binta came in. So when she came in, the prosecution made his appearance, but nobody to make appearance for Mr. Kanu. So she asked Mr. Kanu that, where are your counsel? And he said that they are outside, that they're trying to get order of his legal team into the court. And his lawyer from the United States of America was not allowed to see him. Although he came to see him at the DSS Consider Center, they couldn't allow him to see him. So he ought to be in court today to witness the proceeding. So Justice Binta asked him if he was going to go ahead with the proceeding by himself without his counsel being present. He said no. So she said that, which means the lawyer staged a walkout from the court. She said it's an offense, but she would not comment on it. That she will adjourn the proceedings to January 2022 for trial. That if any person that is not a party to the suit or legal representation in the matter who wants to witness proceedings in our court, that person should make a request to her for approval.
All right. Now, in the situation where the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu were outside and his counsel had to go outside to get them in, what circumstances, were there restrictions, or was it a DSS or security restriction, or what circumstances led to the other lawyers not having or being given access into the court?
Well, as usual, the DSS besieged the Federal High Court from the same Shagari Way down to the lane at which the court is located. We had to go through vigorous checks before we journalists could even gain access into the court. We were just 4 journalists who were able to enter the courtroom. Yes, at the entrance of the court premises, directly at the door leading to the courtroom, the mounted guard at the entrance of the court. They did not also allow some of his lawyers. They also did not allow some of his supporters into the courtroom. So when the court started sitting, we could hear from the door inside the court some persons were knocking. So when the court adjourned, we journalists were asked to leave the courtroom. The judge said she was going to speak with Mr. Kanu and the prosecuting counsel. So we excused ourselves from the courtroom. But when we were outside with his counsel, they also tried to go into the court to ensure that at least they are heard. But the DSS refused them access into the courtroom, saying that the court has already adjourned. So Mr. Jafar actually thought that he needs to go into the courtroom, so at least the judge should hear him. That the reason he came out was to be able to ensure that other lawyers come in, that the judge ought not to have adjourned without hearing from them, and also knowing why the lawyers were not allowed into the courtroom. Today, the court was supposed to take the application moved by Mr. Jafar, challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear the charges preferred against Mr. Kanu and also the competency of the charge. But let's also remember that on the 22nd of October, a day after the last adjourned date, the Minister of Justice, in the person of Abuja Malami, indicted Nnamdi Kanu, saying that most of the activities that happened, making reference to the NSAT, Nnamdi Kanu played a role in it. This was what he said. This was a report brought by the committee inaugurated by the president, where he chaired. And we asked the question of if there was going to be a committee that would be inaugurated to check the activities of Nnamdi Kanu as to terrorism and treasonable felony, why was he brought to court and why was he allowed to take his plea? And also, why is the presumption of innocence? That the minister said that indictment is a judicial function as well as conviction and sentence.
All right, we have to leave you here now. Thank you very much, Celestina Iria, for bringing us up to speed with the developments from the court there.